Hey Jack, quick question. This is John.
Sure, John. How's it going?
How serious of a pitch are you looking for right now? Is this more of a casual thing, or we got like,
Yeah, uh, casual pitch,
okay, all right, we'll do.
but hey, you can take it as serious as you want. So we'll have some Q&A in between.
All right, yeah, I want to have a little bit more fun with this one, so I have
Sure,
some other things to demo.
absolutely. I want to keep that room for fun, for sure. All right, everybody. So we are at 7 o'clock, and we'll get started. We'll have some guests join us as we're moving through our time here. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the December meetup for D New Tech, and we have a a variety of entrepreneurs with us with different startups this evening. So looking forward to seeing what everybody's up to in the area. So a quick little agenda, kind of set your expectations for the evening. So the next 10 minutes, so I'm going to do a little introduction, give you kind of some background about D New Tech, the motivation for why we're meeting tonight. I got a really awesome community update for everybody. And then at 7:10, we'll do a quick networking activity, and what this is really about is creating community, connecting the dots, and moving forward together. So after our networking, once we learn a little bit about each other, who's here, and an opportunity to connect on LinkedIn or social media, then we'll get right into the pitches. And we're going to start with Swarith, and then we'll have John and Michael. And we originally were going to have Greg Chase from Hoop Run, but I believe we have a change in presenters. So we're going to have a presenter for Hoop Run, and then Justin Somerville with Mayfield Athletics. He's going to kind of close off our pitching, and then we'll have some time to talk right at the very end and maybe discuss some things, some activities, events that are coming up within our entrepreneurial ecosystem. So hey, let's get it started. Move forward here. A little bit about me, your D New Tech host. My name is Jack Pierick, and a little about me. I started at Wayne State University as studying mechanical engineering, and I'm always interested in technology and products, and that got me over to Techtown Detroit with the DTX program summer of 2018. So I'm also a, a student of entrepreneurship, and that's really one of the reasons I've called you all here. It's great to have these conversations, to uh, hear each other's pitches. This is how we improve our message, our story, and really get our solutions to the problems of the world out there. So after DTX, I started working as an educator with Accelerate Kid, where I teach computer science to the youth of Detroit and Southeast Michigan. And most recently, I'm a student math teacher at Fordson High School in Dearborn. Okay, so a little bit about D New Tech. We've been around 10 years, and we have over 2,400 members within our broader network. And we provide networking resources for startups in Detroit and Southeast Michigan. We really highlight entrepreneurs and encourage their startups in their projects. And again, this is all about having community, building community, collaborating to have these meaningful events. So we're creating content here. So uh, this will be viewed as we go into the future. So if you're not joining us live, we welcome our listeners into the future. Okay, I have to thank our sponsors. Tech Town Detroit, who as well as Accelerate 4Kid Foundation and Kerr Russell Law Firm. Without these organizations, we wouldn't have this community. We wouldn't have DNU Tech. So I would like to thank all of our sponsors. All right, so my community update, and this is my ask for everybody this evening. So let's make history together. On December 11th and 12th, we're supporting the Michigan Accelerate Computer Science organization to set a record for the most users to take an online computer programming lesson in 24 hours. So I do have a link up here, and in a moment, I'm going to share some links. Yet you can sign up right here at miacceleratecs.com. So on the 11th and 12th, we have a computer programming lesson. It takes about a half an hour. You don't need any prior coding experience. So it will be a really cool half-hour coding lesson for you, but also it's contributing to this attempt at breaking a world record. So we're doing it to break the record. We're doing it for Michigan. We're doing it for the United States. One interesting dynamic about our attempt here is, as we're organizing this attempt to break the Guinness World Record, we had an international consulting firm out of London, England. They saw that we were trying to break this record. So they had an attempt just within the past few weeks, and they have 2,800 people who have completed the lesson within a day. So we're shooting for 3,000 or more, so we can really break that threshold by a good amount. So what I'm asking of you, the community, is please share this link with your networks. Please go to this link yourself and just spend maybe 3 to 5 minutes on this website. And if you can, on the Friday, December 11th, if you would be willing to take a half an hour to an hour to complete this coding lesson, you're going to help us break the record. So please help us make history here on the 11th and 12th. So, all right. I always like to have a quick networking and community building activity. So what I ask of you all now, I have some directions up here on the screen, and let's open up our chat box in Zoom and do our best to answer these 5 questions. So first off, what is your name? If you would like to be contacted, what's your contact information, be it social media or email, however you like to be contacted. And finally, let's see. So what organization are you working with? What value can you offer to the community? And also, how can the community assist you? So I'm going to turn on some music. It's about 7:10. Let's take about 2 to 3 minutes. I'll come back with you at about 7:12, and we'll watch the chat box kind of populate as everyone is inputting their responses here. So I'm going to cue some John Coltrane here, and I will catch you all in about 2 or 3 minutes. welcome. If you are just joining us, we're taking a few minutes to network with each other, and we're using the chat box to answer the questions on the screen. So I invite you to do some networking, and we're all going to connect again in about 2 minutes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for letting us know a little bit about you. And I encourage you all to browse the chat and connect with like minded people. If you see any opportunities, let's see. So, if you need any logos or graphic design, we have Vasella in here who can help you out with that typography. So, if that's anything that you need or interests you, connect with Vasella. And hey, Vasella, we'd love to find a way to connect with you. So, if you have a website or a LinkedIn or social medias or an email, please let us know. And also we have Neha with us this evening, uh, and she has a podcast. I'm gonna try to ask her about that as we get towards the end of the program. I think that would uh, be good for the community to know more about. And let's see who else. Okay, Samir is with us. Hello, Samir. He's a startup founder as well. And Mr. Anthony Watts, glad you could join us this evening. He's with Hoopron. And Doug, it's always a pleasure being with you, Doug. So Doug is with 1 Million Cups of Oakland, Oakland County. And if you all are looking for more opportunities for pitching, that's a great organization to get connected with. And we also have Varun with us, who has 30 years experience in the tech industry. So if you need a tech subject matter expert, he is one you should connect with. So, hey, thank you everybody for putting yourselves out there, and hopefully you're able to connect with at least one other person through this activity. So let's jump right into our pitches. And we first up we have Swarith Reddy, who is founder and CEO of Crown Smart Mirrors. He's a senior at Troy High School, and he's a serial entrepreneur at a young age. He's the founder and teacher of Ready Prep, which helps students prepare for standardized tests like SATs, ACTs, and also he's founder and executive director of the nonprofit organization called the Peace Syndicate. And maybe we'll have some time to hear more about that. But yes, Crown Smart Mirrors. So Swarith, uh, would you like to share your screen and present? Otherwise, I can run the slides for you. What would you prefer?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for that great introduction, Jack. I can take care of handling the share screen if I have permissions for that.
It is all yours.
Okay. Let me see. Let me know if this is working for everyone. I can never trust Zoom fully.
Looks good.
Okay. Alrighty. So let me get right into it. Hey everyone, I'm Swarth Reddy, and today I'll be pitching to you Crown Smart Mirrors, virtualizing business to consumer interactions. So a little bit about me. I'll go over this in brief since Jack already covered most of it, but I'm a current senior at Troy High School, and some of the stuff I do outside of Crown is I serve as the business vice president for my high school first robotics team. I'm the acting state president for the Michigan Technology Student Association, founder and head instructor for my own tutoring service, Ready Prep, and also founder and executive director of the Peace Syndicate, a 501c3 organization. So let's get right into what Crown is about. Our mission is to create smart or magic mirror products that serve as kiosks for consumers. So this sort of means a way for consumers to get to know more about the business, as well as just anything else in sectors from anywhere from real estate to retail fashion. So we currently have one product completed and on the market and going further into the market, and another currently in development, which I'll go into our products a little bit later. Our company was started earlier this year in January 2020 with sort of a vision from me. I started working with smart mirrors as a passion product, looking to further my own skills in Python and just coding in general, when I sort of had the idea to use a mirror as a way for consumers to try on clothes without actually physically wearing them. So a sort of virtual fitting room. And with the advent of the pandemic, this issue only became more applicable. And I really sought to push this out to help retail companies add a sort of technology aspect to their day-to-day sales. Since then, we've sort of developed and are targeting more sectors, but we're still using that as our main focus. So for our current product, we have a prototype on the left with one of my employees taking a picture. So if you can see, there's basic information such as time, date, calendar, weather, news, Twitter trends, all that information. And since then, with consumer feedback and time and development, we've sort of grown it to what you see on the right, which is a sort of computer simulation of what our product currently is. So this is a personal kiosk for consumers to use at home, where they can sort of see basic information while they're getting ready in the morning, can put their calendar or reminders up, and can even change it to a sort of a virtual background or play movies off of it in case you want to relax while you're in the shower or doing something else. So our sort of model for this was that this isn't a necessarily new technology, as it is, the smart mirrors have been on the market for a while. But our sort of idea is, like any other luxury goods, we want to sort of attach a greater value to it than the product itself, which is why we aim to get our product to consumers indirectly. So we aim to go to business to consumer. So what we do is we target real estate companies and home staging companies, where we sell our product to them, where they're able to add our smart mirror to their house and raise the value of the home rather than trying to directly get to the consumer itself. Our other product, our virtual feeding room, is still in development, and we intend to get this out on market by the end of next year. Now for our ask. Like any other young and growing entrepreneur, I need a lot of help, and so does the rest of my team. We're all in high school and we're still growing and learning. So mentorship is something that we could use the most. So any support, experience, or resources that we get would be greatly appreciated. That's all I have. I don't have too much, but if you guys have any questions about Crown or anything else that I've talked about, feel free to go ahead.
Hey, thank you, Swarith. Then I would like to open up the floor for questions for Swarith and Crown Smart Mirrors. All right, while people have their thinking caps on, so I'm curious, what is the what is the greatest lesson that you've learned through creating this product from a technical sense? So you mentioned you're using Python, and you got
Mhm.
some hardware, you got some software going on here. Very cool minimum viable product, the MVP, by the way. That very cool. Can you tell us what is one of your biggest technical learning moments?
So this is sort of a sort of broad thing, but I think the greatest thing for me was that through the sort of project and venture as a whole, I've learned technically that to never give up once I get to a roadblock. Whenever I get to a roadblock, it's not that I can't move forward, but it's because I don't know enough to move forward. So it's to always keep learning, right? Always to keep growing my skill set, learn about new technology, see how it can apply to my product, and grow it as a whole.
Thank you. So also from a teamwork or a collaboration aspect. So who is a part of your team? Do you have any teammates that are really with with this company, with this product?
Yeah, so by technicality, I do have 3 employees who are working with me, but I like to refer to them as my teammates, as it is more of a collaborative environment that we work in. And of course, we're all working remote, but we do hop on Zoom calls, the likes, just work together, work on our products, work on developing, work on growing our skill sets. I think is one of the most important things that we do, rather than the business or the product itself. I think the main point for us was to grow as both people, but grow technically and grow as entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much, Swarith. We are looking forward to the future of Crown Smart Mirrors and maybe some possible other endeavors. I guess while I got you here, could you tell us how did you get into creating Ready Prep in the Peace Syndicate? So
Okay.
it's always cool to understand more about your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah. So Crown was more of a recent venture for me, but I've been doing working with the Peace Syndicate and Ready Prep for several years now. So how this sort of started out was I gathered a group of friends in my freshman year of high school just to do some volunteering. And we went to different activities hosted by local organizations, sort of saw what we could do for the community, and thought that there were a lot of ways that we could do what others were doing in a more efficient way, or that there were problems that weren't being addressed in the right way or just weren't being addressed at all. So that's where I founded the Peace Syndicate. And our aim is to sort of target understated issues in both our community and now internationally, and focus on them through technical means as well as volunteering efforts. So we've grown into a 501c3 organization in 6 states, 4 countries worldwide, and we're just looking to make an impact and change. As for Ready Prep, I've been working on standardized tests from a young age, far earlier than many of my peers. So I've had a lot of experience with that. So I thought, as a way to sort of fundraise for the Peace Syndicate and grow our funds for our volunteering efforts, I sort of formed a tutoring service. And this was just me tutoring those younger than me as well as my peers, just for some change, just to grow my organization. And then the Ready Prep kept growing. I had more and more students coming to my classes. I held group sessions, and it sort of grew to more than just a one-on-one tutoring, but a tutoring service and organization.
Cool. Thank you. And
Yeah.
in the chat, we have a question from Jane Looks, and she's asking, do you have a current prototype to show? So in your presentation, you did show us a picture, you talked about
Yeah.
it, but if someone wanted to actually interact with your product, could you invite them to do so?
Yeah, so in fact, I was going to mention this, but I think I forgot. We are releasing our final sort of product in about a week or so onto Etsy. So I can sort of share that through you, Jack, and if you can get that out to everyone, or we can find out some other way. And we're also releasing our companion app onto the Google Play Store this week, and soon after onto the App Store. So be looking out for that. That's a great way to sort of get introduced to Crown, see what we've sort of worked on, what we've been working on, and what we've produced.
Wow. So you have an actual version of your product ready to be for sale on Etsy.
Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
we'll be putting that up soon.
And have you made any revenue with Crown Smart Mirrors yet, or will this be your kind of step into that next?
This will be our step into it. So far, we have sold 4 or 5 products so far, but that was sort of just to break even, mostly for the purpose of consumer feedback. So that's where you see the product on the left of the screen right now. That was our initial prototype, and now we're sort of expanding to our final product, which you can see on the right in a sort of computerized version, but we'll have our final product on sale.
All right. Thank you, Swara. Okay. So next, before our next presenter, I want to mention a quick program through TechTown. So TechTown being one of our sponsors, they have all of these excellent business development programs, and a few of our speakers tonight was actually going through the, oh, let me share. Oh, it is shared. Wonderful. So the TechTown Incubator Program. So if you're an entrepreneur looking for some guidance or some more collaboration, these are some great programs to check out. So yeah, different opportunities depending on what your startup is. There are these great programs like the Start Studio, the Capital Program, Launch Detroit, the TechTown Incubator, and the STEEP program. So I did drop a link to that in the chat. So if that's something you want to check out later, I encourage you all to check that out. So next up here, we have John Wolf. John Wolf is an international consultant and game designer with Kaiman International. He has produced the games Worm-Z and Oink AR. And I was trying to play Worm-Z. I was having a little trouble accessing it. I'm curious to know more how we can play these games. Because I'm a gamer myself. I would love to play. Yet John is, other than a game producer, he's also an expert in Japanese relations and marketing. So I will give the floor over to John, and I'll yeah, John, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? So I will, I guess, share my screen, yes, and I'll go ahead and kick it off. Desktop number 2. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to cover actually. One of the reasons why Worm-Z, is not playable in the App Store is because it's only been released in the Japanese App Store, which kind of circles back to all of the things that I was doing in terms of international relations and all that good stuff. Sorry. And then also you mentioned the programs as well. So I was able to participate in the TechTown Incubator program. And I was really lucky to be able to do that. I was just kind of looking around TechTown and seeing what programs they had. And I found the incubator program, applied, was able to get in with Justin, was also one of my cohorts. And it's really nice because I'm currently 30. When I was 16, probably, older than maybe Swarth. By the way, your presentation was on point, man. Like, you are way ahead of the game. So props to you. That was a great presentation. And also your products were really impressive. Back when I was around then, TechTown had just started up. I was making video games. I did the first ever video game conference here in Detroit over at Wayne State. And so I've been interested in the video game industry ever since I was really young. You know, if you like video games, the mecca for that was Japan. So at some point I knew I had to get over there. Went to college, started working in the video game industry. I was working over in Boston. Then it was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and just take a leap of faith and just do this and move to Japan and learn Japanese at a university. And then after that, started working in the video game industry. I can answer more questions about Japan and the video game industry if anyone has questions like that. But anyway, starting from TechTown back when like I was 16, coming full circle now that I'm back in Michigan, back in Detroit, and they had this incubator program I could be involved in, it was a really nice, cool way for me to get back into in Detroit, because I'm just freshly here from Japan. I haven't been back for too long. So anyway, I have a video game studio. It used to be called Urban Electronics, and we kind of shifted over to Kaimon International because I had this whole international thing going on. And I will explain exactly what we're doing in terms of the video games we're making right now. Since this isn't, I don't know how much of a pitch this needs to be, but I'm keep this one kind of more chill today. And so, you know, one of the catchphrases we have is that at Kaimon International, the more you play, the more you earn, because there's this really cool thing in video games going on right now called play to earn. Games have always been known to be a waste of time. Your mom says not to play them. You know, everyone says like, hey, like, don't play video games because you can't make any money off of it. But we were very much like, well, there's a way to do this. My mom told me, it was like, or my mom and my dad were like, you better be doing something other than just playing video games, and because you're wasting your time. And I was like, all right, well, I started making them. But recently, what is as of late is that people can actually make money by playing games. Traditionally, only the top players in the world were the individuals who could actually make any type of money. You know, if you're playing Street Fighter or any type of fighting game, or you're playing Counter-Strike, or if you're playing, you know, Smash Brothers, and if you're the top player in the world, then you might make some money from it. But if you're just hanging out, playing on your phone on the way to, you know, your job, or just, you know, with your friends on the weekend, where's the money for that is kind of what the problem that games is, the systemic this paradigm, that this problem that games have had. And there's been a paradigm shift that's happened now, in which you can now make money by playing games. And so the way we're doing right now is that we found this way that we can do this, and we're going to monetize in-game items. So I was able to partner up with a Japanese video game studio that I used to work with, and we were able to utilize blockchain technology, which, quick show of hands, if I may. How many people here are familiar with blockchain? Got a comme si, comme ça, kind of like so, got one hand, and I kind of missed everyone else there. Yeah, all right. Well, oh, really, Justin, you should have a better idea now after spending all that time with me. But the cool thing about blockchain is that it decentralizes things, right? It's a form of financial technologies, but it's a decentralized financial technology. You don't have to go through regular banks and financial industries in order to make transactions. And so the way that works in games is that now game items can be in your possession. They exist outside of the game itself. So you're playing a video game and you find a really cool sword, and that sword now belongs to you. And then someone else is like, hey, I really want that sword. Like, that sword is so cool. Where'd you find that? And instead of that person spending all the time that you spent to go find it, you could sell that to them for money in cryptocurrency, but you can always exchange it into real money. And this has been ongoing for roughly about 3-4 years now. And there's been a lot of money behind it, which I'll show exactly more of the revenue numbers. So partnering up with this Japanese studio, we were able to make these really cute, adorable pigs, which you're kind of seeing here featured, and put them on the blockchain so you can own them. They're your pets. And we have about 88,000 of them that exist out there. And then what I did is I took it a step further and made an augmented reality app off of it. And so the picture there is, well, the bed that I have in my back, like right here in my room. And these actual pets are now brought from the digital realm into actual reality through augmented reality. So I make video games, I do augmented reality, and I make video game economies, is what these things are called, to create this thing called play to earn, in which you make money from playing games. If that was a little bit intense, this is kind of how it's broken down in a more technological way. And again, there are things that are going on inside of a video game, and we use the blockchain technology and these things called smart contracts to deconstruct, just basically just tear everything you know apart about a game and be able to take individual elements of the game out of them, so then you can swap them for fiat if you trade them to other people. It's kind of the breakdown. Again, I will answer any questions that people have them, because this is complicated stuff and it's very new. It's really cool, but I will do my best to try to explain it. And really the best way for you to understand it is to play the game yourself. And I have the demo links, which I'll share afterwards. Competition. So again, just kind of show the paradigm shift is that you might know these games like King, or Candy Crush made by King, Temple Run. If you've heard these things, you probably got to know Fortnite. Hopefully people here are playing some type of video games. If you don't at all, well, then think of Mario. Any traditional game that is out there right now has no way for you to be able to actually own the game items that you have. Once you leave the game, that's it. You know, you're stuck inside that virtual realm. And again, what I'm saying is that with these new types of play to earn models, you're now able to create game economies, which is one of the leverages that we have as a game studio. All those previous games make all the revenue from in-app purchases. You spend money in the game to have something in the game, but you can't take it out. All right. So then market size for this kind of crazy stuff that's going on. 2019, the revenues for mobile games, if you're just curious to know about the game industry, was 60 billion. The current amount of money that has been made from game transactions, again, people sharing the pigs that we have or other characters or swords and things like that, that has come up to 210 million thus far and growing. So there's a huge ceiling for where this can go. And this has only been within the last, 3-4 years, really, in terms of games, which has been around for, a couple, not decades now, but about 20 years or so. Well, yeah, about 20 years, like 20, 30 years, 30 years. But, mobile games is even sooner than that. And also we're dealing in AR and VR. So the market size for that has been pretty good. If you happen to be an investor, check out the stock Unity. It's doing really well right now. They have a lot of bullish ideas on AR and VR and video game development in the future. Can talk more about that, know a lot about games. Revenue model. So what we do is we're able to get our revenue from our game economies. So the more game items that we have in our game, so these pigs, or then we have things that you put the things on the pigs, like sunglasses or coats or whatever, or that we have other aspects, like we have a battle system. So if you want to have new skills, all of these things are things that can then be taken out the game and then traded amongst people. So the more users we have, the more items we have within our game, the more things can be traded and the more revenue is possible for a company like myself. And if you're looking for more hardcore examples, I can tell you of current games that have these established and are making millions by very simple mechanics. And it's just very interesting to be able to have games have this kind of opportunity now. So I have extensive partnerships with Japanese companies because I was there for 4 years. I'm fluent in Japanese. And this is a way that we're going to be able to onboard more individuals. We're first going to start by doing collaborations. That's our first way that we're going to get our first 10,000 with other games that have game economies in our blockchain games. So other people. And then from there, we're going to expand overseas. And there's an app called Line, which is very similar to WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. And we've been able to get on their platform a little bit, so that'll bring a lot of individuals as well. Japanese people tend to play video games a lot more than anywhere else in the world, and the metrics over there are really high. So it's really cool to be able to see the user engagement. Again, Jack, that's one of the reasons why I only released Wormzilla in Japan as the first game ever released, because I wanted to test the market out there. And the response I got from a game with not a lot of marketing was huge, because people are playing games they're really for the quintessential element of enjoying to play them. There's a lot of cultural differences that exist between Japan and, well, the East and the West. And it's really funny how those cultural differences find their way into game genres. And I love to talk about that. But, games that are popular over here in America are Call of Duty war simulators. They don't do well over in the East. But vice versa, you have Final Fantasy, a game that's more about we're against the common evil. We're all working together. That game does really well over there. It was designed over there. It doesn't do as well over here, over in America. And that's because there's two cultural values. One called individualism and collectivism. Individualism is called Kojin Shugi. Collectivism is Shudan Shugi. And those mindsets that we have are reflected in video games and are reflected in video game sales. And it's just wild. So that was a little bit of a sidebar, but I really like that kind of stuff. And I researched it a lot and I was in it a lot and I saw it a lot. So, and in the end, we're looking to be able to team up with individuals like Pokemon Go, Niantic, Rovio, Angry Birds, to either help them with AR or to help them with their game economies. Quick milestone is what you got going on here. MVP being launched in Q4. The pre-alpha is available, and we are now putting more of the blockchain elements within the game. So in 2021, we're going to be rolling out more of our game economy, getting some more funding, talking with Niantic, doing a lot of fun things, growing the team, and we're just going to be, off to the races. Quick team. Got some overseas advisory. I spent some time in Finland as well. Finland is where Angry Birds was made. It's where Clash of Clans was made. People don't know that mobile games is huge over there. I can talk more about that if you're interested, but good place to be if you're interested in video games as well. So made some connections with those two just to be able to help with those two countries to be able to help with distribution in the future. And already made some connections with Niantic to be able to talk with Pokemon Go because they have augmented reality. And they're actually one of the first investors that we're really looking for. Financial projections, if you are an investor here, please let me know and we can talk more exactly about why these revenue numbers are the way they are. Again, I will give examples and then also tell why we can reach these things. The reason why we're able to scale revenues is because of average revenue per daily active user. And basically, you're able to monetize a lot if you have a lot of users. But the cool thing about game economies is that with even a smaller user base, the fact that you have average revenue from daily active users be so high, meaning every single day you're making a certain amount from your users be so high, you're able to scale your revenues, is something that is novel to game economies. I apologize. I spoke really fast just then, but if you do have questions about that, I will break that down. And then funding requirements, we're kind of okay right now, but this 300,000 target we're looking for is because Niantic has a developer fund, which they give $300,000 and also technical AR support. And we're trying to get that right now because we want to be associated with them. We want to improve our AR tech, and obviously the money would be good too. So that's kind of why we have these funding requirements here. But all of this pitch stuff I'm giving to you right now were some requirements that that the Techtown Incubator helped us think about. You guys are a business, you want to formulate your business, you have to think about all of this. So this pitch was actually our graduating pitch that we had to formulate. So a lot of this information in there is true, but I also made sure I put it in there for the presentation I had. Game studios are a little bit more lax than maybe regular studios, but we take this very seriously. So our exit is to have, again, our association be with some of these publishers that we would hope to take us on, and then we would end up using our knowledge base to either improve their or give them the ability to make game economies or just make new titles under them. So that's about it in a nutshell. And thank you for hanging with me for so long. I apologize if that was a bit long. I did not time myself, so I'm sure that was over any type of limit I might have had there. And just lastly, we just opened up our pre-alpha page, and this kind of just shows the game in action. I will share this link, or you can just give me your information. I will give you the iOS and Android links so you can play the game. There are over 2 billion, 3 billion, probably more combinations of cute pigs that you can have. So just some that I'm showing there, but honestly, anything you think of exists, which is crazy because again, this is all leveraged through blockchain. And that's really it. So thank you for your time. I will float questions, and that's all I got for you.
Thank you, John. Very, very cool to hear about Kaiman International and blockchain video game economies, and an opportunity for us to be early investors, early adopters of this new technology. Yes, please share those links with us. I'm sure I'm interested in playing, participating. I'm sure some of our other guests are as well. For the sake of time, do we have one quick question from the audience for John?
If I can go ahead. John, so I sort of had a question about, so what sort of route Kaiman International was going as a whole, because I noticed you guys created your games, which look really cool, by the way. I would love to try them out. But you guys, you also spoke about working with companies such as Niantic and Rovio to help them develop their AR or game economies. So are you guys sort of like a company that creates your own games or works with other game studios to sort of monetize their own games?
Both. So the augmented reality game that you saw is completely made in-house, proprietary development made here by myself and also some individuals from Lawrence Tech University. It's a very good question, by the way. And while I can do that with one Japanese client that I have right now, because again, the pigs were made for them by us. And then there's another Japanese client I have in Tokyo who wants us to make another game for them. So any individual who's like, we want to have a video game that utilizes blockchain technology or just a video game in general, then we'll do. But we also want to make our own proprietary titles as well. So if we want to come up with a cool idea, we will. So it's consultation for individuals who are interested in blockchain technology and game economies. And then if they want to have a build out of a game, that will also be floated. But consultation is obviously easier than developing a whole game, right? But it's open to all of that. So proprietary game development, and then also we'll just say consultation of game economies. That's probably the easiest way to look at it for the moment. And then, you know, just general Japanese marketing, because people will come to me being like, I want to break into the Japanese market. And so how do I do that? What kind of things do I need to understand? So Common International has all that cool global stuff going on, while I kind of have more of a branch called Urban Electronics, which just does games. I hope that answers your question.
Hey, for the sake of time, we're going to move on. If you have more questions for John, I encourage you to chat with him in the Zoom chat over here. So, hey, I do see a message from Jay from J Free Media. He says, do you need more game designers and animators? I'm going to let you talk about that through the chat so we can move on here. But yes, I do encourage you all to be talking with each other about any connections that you can make. So, hey, thank you, John. Thank you, Swarith, for your questions. And next, we have Michael Crawford, who is the co-founder of EdSpace. He is a PhD in educational psychology and connector of people and ideas. So without further ado, I bring to you Michael Crawford.
Great, thanks so much. That's a funny connector of people and ideas on the bio. Is a funny thing to have. But thanks. We're here. So I am Michael. I am a co-founder of EdSpace. Quick kind of caveat before I jump in. EdSpace, all kinds of stuff happened in the hallway. EdSpace was built and designed for the world of education. So it is, we worked with hundreds of teachers across the country, recognized that many of them were feeling overworked and underpaid and frustrated and disengaged. Many teachers leave the profession before, before they even hit year 5. And we wanted to do something about it. We learned that when teachers got connected with one another, things changed for them. It completely flipped the way that they saw themselves and their work. And so we created a platform for teachers that would allow them to be able to connect easily, anytime, anywhere. Then we launched it in beta in February of this year. And in March, all schools basically shut down. And so we had to kind of adapt and adjust the way that we approached our technology, our platform, the problem that we were trying to solve, and the solution that we had. And so where we are now is that we have about 1,800 users on our platform, which I'll walk through in a second. These are mostly, or pretty much all, people from education. About half are teachers. The other half are school leaders or librarians or counselors, et cetera. And what I'm interested in now, and what this pitch will be aimed towards, is beginning to think about how the core technology of EdSpace can apply beyond the education industry and begin to tap into other spaces. And so I say that so that you'll have a bit of a frame as I move forward through the presentation. So here we go. Maybe. So what is EdSpace? So EdSpace is a platform. It is Web 2.0. It is mobile and web. It is a video-based platform. where people anytime, anywhere can share a short video post that they can ask a question, they can get feedback on something they're working on, they can celebrate a colleague, a lot of different ways to use it. So think about it it sits at the intersection essentially of technologies that people are familiar with. It's like Slack in that it's channel based. It's like Instagram or Instagram stories in that it's video based. It's kind of like Twitter in that there are public spaces you can go find. And it's kind of like LinkedIn currently in that it is education focused and it's professional focused. It's not really built currently for entertainment. So how's it work? As I mentioned, videos are the main guts of the platform. These are short videos. These disappear from the platform 7 days after their last interaction. So it's not really a competitor of YouTube. It's not a video archive, but instead these videos are much more for conversation and for dialogue around topics, podcasts, books, events, etc. And videos live on channels. Channels within Headspace cover that full range, as I mentioned, podcasts, books, topics of interest, and more. There can be public channels that anybody on Headspace can access. There can be private channels where only certain people have access. There are ways to filter so you can find certain kinds of people based on their profiles. And there are also ways to use text within the platform for people who aren't necessarily ready to jump into video. So how can it be used? Well, if we zoom way up, Headspace can be used for a lot of different things, for discussion, for professional development, for finding new ideas and finding new people. If we zoom in, there's a lot of different ways to use it. You can solicit feedback from your community or from new people. You can discover new people and kind of stumble into folks through serendipity. You can announce and promote different things that you're working on. So there's a lot of different ways to use the core technology of Headspace. Here's a couple examples. So a conference, imagine, currently conferences, you jump online, it's a webinar of sorts. Once the live piece of that is over, oftentimes the learning and the connectivity is over. Maybe they have a hashtag on Twitter. Maybe there's a text-based discussion forum, but there isn't really great ways to figure out who else was in the room, discover other people with your similar interests, and be able to share with them. But imagine if after that live experience, you could jump into a channel over the course of days or weeks and begin to actually continue engaging in the conversations that you're interested in. And similarly, another use case could be around an organization, perhaps a podcast network that wants to generate dialogue amongst its listeners. Channels could be dedicated to the podcast. Could be an organization that currently has a tool within the organization for professional learning, but maybe they want to use Headspace, which is this asynchronous video connectivity to kind of augment or enhance what they have to offer. So just a few different ideas here. And so the ask for this group really is twofold. One, people who want to hear more about the technology. I had a few screenshots on there, but would love to jump into a demo a little bit deeper and show you around and kind of see what sparks for you. And two, really looking for some connections, some ideas, some feedback with people outside of education. The core technology of Headspace is this asynchronous video platform, sharing, connecting, conversation over time. There are slices of that are being used already. There is Slack, there is Quora, there is YouTube, there is Marco Polo, but there really isn't anything that sits at that intersection, and we think there's a lot of use cases for it. So all that being said, that is my time and my presentation. Here's a few ways to get a hold of me. And that QR code, if you are on a laptop or a desktop and you have your phone, you can snap that. We are launched in beta, as I mentioned, in February. So this will take you to your respective app store or Android if you have an Android. You can download, you can register for free, and you can jump in and take a look around. And that's it. So thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Quick question about about Headspace and its functionality. So a video will remain active on the site unless it is without engagement for 1 week?
I think you said it truthfully, but I can say it a different way. The
Okay.
post lives on Headspace for up to 7 days. if somebody interacts with it, meaning they reply to it, they leave a comment, they share it out on Twitter, the clock starts over. And so the idea is that the only posts you'll see on Edspace, the only video posts you'll see on Edspace are posts that either are brand new, they're less than 7 days old, or people are interacting with them. There's a conversation happening. People are there's something going on where people are talking and interacting. And so, again, we built this for educators who don't have a lot of time to go sifting through conversations from 5 months ago or 5 years ago when they're looking for what's happening right now, or trying to find a resource for right now or get some feedback right now. And so what we wanted to do is create a place where everything is fresh or everything is engaging, it's interesting, there is something happening here. And so that is the reason or the rationale for the timeline of videos. I will say we do have the ability to extend that timeline or remove it. So we're going to be testing some things over the course of the next few weeks with channels that don't have life cycles for videos, to see how people might use those, how we as Edspace can use those to stimulate engagement and activity on the platform. So, that was a choice we made, and some of the right from the start, we've gotten feedback like, why did they go away? What if somebody says something amazing? That should stay there forever. And so, we've been getting good feedback from the start. And so that's one of the things that we're wanting to explore.
Thank you, Michael. Do we have any other questions from the audience? All right, I encourage everybody to check out the website, edspace.live, and make an account and give it a shot. And we're curious to see the future of Edspace. And like you said, looking for how can this expand outside of education. That's something I'll be thinking about, and I'll let you know my thoughts and ideas about that.
Great, thanks so much. You're muted, Jack.
Thanks. Originally, we had Greg Chase of Hoop Run, but we have Anthony Watts joining us this evening, standing in for Greg Chase. So I will pass the floor over to Anthony, and let's hear about Hoop Run.
All right, what's up, everybody? Like you said, Greg was going to be here today, but I'm coming to help him out. He has me working with him now, and I felt like, hold on, my screen sharing?
Not yet.
All right, here we go. Perfect.
Looks good.
All right. Yep, so he had me come help him out, and I felt like to get some exercise and really fully understand what he's doing, I should know how to pitch it and come exercise and talk to some people about what it is before we move forward. So I'm just doing that today. Got a hold of the pitch deck today, and I want to talk to you guys about it. Like I said, Greg is not here, but the problem we're trying to solve is there's a huge disconnect between gyms and players. Players are looking for places to play pickup basketball. And for anybody who doesn't know, pickup basketball is small groups of people who come together to play basketball at a gym or park or wherever. But players also want to know when they arrive to a gym, they will have access to the court. Sometimes gyms have other things going on, and it could be tournaments or other non-basketball related things, and players will have to turn around and go home. Gyms, they're looking for ways to show players where they can come play basketball, and they're also looking for assurance that these players will pay to do the activities at their facility. That's where Hoop Run comes in. Mobile application. It provides a live database for players to be able to see when pickup games are going on. And it also gives gym owners a chance to expose players to what's going on in their gym and also provide them with automation in this process. And we do this with the technology. We allow gyms to make money from players to come play basketball. The live database, like I said, connects gyms and players, makes this whole process easy, and it's done in a very safe manner. It's contactless, and it's also, you can do contact tracing to see who was at your gym, especially in the time where we're dealing with the virus. And Hoop Run's really focused on attacking those underutilized hours in the gym. It allows gyms that would usually be shut down, it allows them to make money during those hours by having basketball sessions. And the software is very easy to use. Our competition, they have the reservation portion down, but we not only offer reservations, we offer automation to the gym owners, prepaid, an opportunity for players to prepay, contactless payments, and the player and gym database is what really keeps gyms and players connected. Our players pay us to play basketball. We take a small portion off the top and we give the rest to the gym facilities. And in return, the gym facilities provides us with information on when their next pickup sessions will happen, and we give that information to the players. With a worldwide market of 450 million recreational basketball players, we're looking to target 500,000 players in the Metro Detroit area. We're also looking to be profitable by the year 2023 and reach 10 million in revenue by the year 2025. And we're going to do this with our go-to market strategy. At launch, we're going to use direct sales to attract gyms, and we're also going to attract players through semi-pro outlets and AAU tournaments that have many people coming to play basketball over a weekend. And at scale, we're also going to open up our referral service to both players and gyms, and also target players and gyms through targeted ads. So we had a beta maybe 6 months ago, and it was a very short beta, but during this time we got 250 players to wait list. Out of those 250, 80 were private beta users, so there was some word of mouth action in there, and we had 50 paid users out of those 80. And we also have 5 gyms commit. We're actually looking for more gyms to commit. And we did this with our team. You know of Greg Chase. He's the founder and CEO. He had 10 years of sales experience. He was a walk-on basketball player at Michigan State, and he was a telecommunications major. I myself, Anthony Watts, am serving as the marketing director right now, and I'm a graduate student at Central Michigan University for entrepreneurial ventures. And we had a great team that I've been learning more about: Stefan Cisco, Jeff Ponders, David Weber, and Justin Dunn. I haven't got a chance to meet some of them just coming on, but I'm looking forward to it if any of you know them. I know, John, you worked in the same program, so it's pretty cool. And we're looking for a CTO to help us continue app development, and really, when we launch, to really give the features that the customers want, the gyms, really roll in those new features as we iterate. We've raised $54,000 in non-dilutive funding. We're seeking an additional $400,000 in funding for key hires, marketing and development, and also looking to partner with major sports affiliates and other experienced marketing talent. So if you guys have any questions, so you can reach us anywhere below. Really appreciate y'all having me. And, you know, I'm really enjoying everybody's pitches, man. So feel free to ask me anything, and I'll do my best to answer.
Hey, thank you, Anthony. Very cool. So I know this last year has been kind of crazy, and you mentioned the beta testing, and that you have players on board, you have gyms on board, you have some some revenue there. Uh, how many games have come together through Hoop Run? So how many?
Actual game? Yeah, we had about 10 games. We were doing it weekly. So we ran it for a couple months and it went well. Most of the time we were looking to have like 20 to 25 people. Sometimes we got a little overboard because we want to promote gyms capping it at a certain level, especially during this time, which we did not know was going to happen at the time. But yeah, we were getting at least 20 people every run.
Hey, and what was your biggest lesson learned from that beta testing?
So from this beta testing, the biggest lesson, it was so much information coming at once. Really, the next test, we really got to have a system for taking all this information so that we can make the changes we need to make based on that information. And at first, it was just so much. We were just excited to get out there, get everybody playing, but we really got to focus and make the right corrections with this information.
Yeah, acting with data is always a challenge, but it's really empowering for sure. Yeah. And you mentioned this launch coming up. Can you tell us just a little bit more about that launch?
Yep. So we're looking for more gyms. We're probably going to look for about 15, so we can really hone in on them. But that launch will probably be by next year, August at the latest. But we're pretty flexible with that time. We're just really focusing on getting those gyms and making sure that they are ready to provide the feedback we need to get them the product they'll want. Even though they might not even know what they want right now, but us working together will produce the product that needs to be out there.
Hey, so your ask is you're looking for more technical advisors or people to join the team from a technical aspect. I did attend a pitch night a few weeks ago, and I ran into a hockey player, or a former professional hockey player, who is working with a software design firm. So it'd be interesting. I grew up as a hockey player, and again, you're talking about basketball players in gyms. There's also hockey players in ice rinks, and we got Detroit is one of our many nicknames is Hockey Town. So I'll try to connect you and Greg and Hoop Run with this technical connect. So I'll have to do some searching. Hey, do we have any more questions from the audience for Anthony and Hoop Run?
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Anthony, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Right.
Very interested to see the results of the launch with Hoop Run. And hey, I'd love to get on the court here when the time is right. So maybe I'll sign up. Maybe you'll catch me on the court.
Cool.
Let's see. All right, so our last presenter, our last entrepreneur for this evening is Justin Somerville, who is the founder and CEO of Mayfield Athletics. He is a sports equipment innovator, which he's going to tell you all about. He is a sports safety advocate, and he's also a published author. I had to throw that in there. Justin, if you'd like to comment on that at some point, you're welcome to. So without further ado, Justin Somerville.
Thank you for the intro, Jack. And yeah, I am a published author, and I have to say I was surprised that you found that. I wrote a kid's book several years ago and published that, and it's kind of nice that somebody found that, so appreciate that.
It's always cool to see the path of our entrepreneurs as we kind of grow and move along.
For sure. And I want to take a second too and fully endorse the Techtown Incubator program. I was part of that with John and Greg, and it's well worth the time and effort to glean the knowledge and information there. So 1.7 to 3 million. That's the number of concussions received per year by athletes in the US. Up to 50% of concussions go unreported, so that number is close to 6 million concussions per year. If you're in high school, you have a 1 in 5 chance of getting concussions during your playing careers. And 50% of concussions at the high school level are from a blow to the face. The two images on this slide are from a blow to Mason Rudolph last year. He was actually knocked out from that hit. That's exactly the kind of hit that we help improve. We are the solution to the problem. Our first product to market is SafeClip. SAFE stands for Shock Absorbing Football Equipment. SafeClip is patented. We have a utility patent that's been fully issued, and we have a utility patent that's pending as well. SafeClip achieves up to 35% decrease in impact force, and currently SafeClip is configured for football, but there are other multiple growth markets, namely hockey and lacrosse, but several other smaller growth markets as well. SafeClip works by allowing the face mask to move back on impact and absorb both translational and rotational force. The current hard plastic clips that are on the helmet now do not do any of that. We absorb shock. We achieve a 35% force reduction, up to a 35% force reduction. The current plastic clips, or the OEMs, do not. Both of us attach a face mask to the helmet. We have game results. They do not. We have documented concussion reductions of 67% and 100% at the high school level. And we have testimonials of players that say they feel a difference when wearing our product. The OEMs cannot say that. We are retrofittable to 95% of current helmet models on the field today. The OEMs are brand specific. You cannot take a clip from a Zenith and move it to a Visus or a Riddell or vice versa. And most importantly, we meet all testing standards and we pass them. Our business model includes both B2B and B2C distribution channels. At the B2B level, we're going to be selling to colleges, universities, high school, and others. We're also going to be talking to reconditioners. We're going to be talking to the coaches, athletic directors, athletic trainers, equipment managers. And the best way to start to reach and build relationships with those people is through trade shows. There's multiple trade shows per year in the United States for coaches, athletic directors, all the people that I listed. And we're going to build the relationships and start the relationships there at the trade shows. I mentioned the reconditioners. Some of the reconditioners do 300,000 plus helmets per year, and that will be a big source of revenue for us moving forward as well. At the B2C level, we're going to be targeting moms, especially. Football moms are very ambitious about protecting their children. They want their kids to be safe, and we're going to reach them through a targeted social media campaign. We're going to be utilizing influencers, and there's also several trade shows that tailor towards women and moms that we can attend as well. One thing that's going to really help us on both sides is getting an NFL brand ambassador. And as we grow, say a hockey brand ambassador or a lacrosse brand ambassador, somebody that will wear our product and push our product to both channels. Currently, we retail at $29.99. It costs us $8 to produce, and it gives us a healthy 73% margin. These are some of the milestones that we've achieved since I started the company in May of 2014. We are currently pulling in early high school adopters, and we are ready for greater market traction with the cash influx. We're also working on product diversification as well. This is our team. Me, I'm the founder, I'm the chief executive officer. Richard Williams is our back-end operations specialist. I don't think that there's a spreadsheet he's met that he doesn't like. I don't like spreadsheets. He does that part. I'm the innovator. I'm the visionary. And I'm happy to have him as part of our team. We also have Vanessa. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in the marketing and PR area. And we're excited to have her as part of the team. We're also proud to include Lomas Brown as part of our advisory board. He's a former Detroit Lions player, played several years for the Lions, won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, because as we all know, you can't win a Super Bowl or even get to one here in Detroit, unfortunately. But we're proud to have him as part of our advisory board. These are our financials going out to 2025. And one thing I want to make clear is the fact that we can reduce our manufacturing costs up to 50% as we scale up, which will increase our margin. Currently, we've raised $700,000 to date from friends and family and friends of friends. That got us the development and patent process and initial market engagement. We are done with development. We are looking to raise $500,000 to drive customer acquisition and revenue growth. We are done with development. It's time to produce revenue. Some of the potential exit opportunities that are in front of us are with the established players in the industry. One example of that is Adams. In 2011, Schutt invested in Adams USA, and in 2014, they acquired the entire company. Riddell has also been involved in several mergers and acquisitions, and some of those deals have been in the tens of millions of dollars. These are some of the images of SafeClip in action. When I started the company, I had a goal of making sports safer for athletes of all ages, and it's been exciting to see that dream start to take shape on the field. I want to thank you again, Jack, for the opportunity to pitch here. It's been great to hear everybody's pitches here, and I'd be happy to answer any and all questions.
Thank you, Justin. Glad you're aboard with us this evening, and it's great to hear about Mayfield Athletics and SafeClip. We do have a question in the chat from Doug Stone, and he asks, how did you arrive at the retail price point? The value to users and influencer feels like it could be higher. So there's kind of a question and a comment tied in here.
That's a great question. We actually went through a lot of different discussions to come to that retail price. Some of the replacement clips for the Dell SpeedFlex are upwards of $40. They, as I mentioned, do not have the added safety benefit. So yeah, we could charge more for our product, but we wanted to be competitively priced based on the current clips that are out there. And moms especially, they could care less about what the price is, but we did want to be competitively priced, and we had a lot of discussion to come to that retail price. It's a great question, though.
And also, are the clips versatile? You mentioned, hey, there's all these different brands or manufacturers of helmets out there. Can the safety clip, does it fit on all the different helmets, or?
Yeah, about 95% of current helmet models, all the most popular ones. The most popular helmet on the market today is a Riddell SpeedFlex. That's what you see a lot of the pro players wear during gameplay. We fit that model as well as all the other popular helmets on the market today, but it's about 95% plus that we fit. There's a few older models with face mask configurations that we don't fit, but we're at about 95% retrofittable.
And we have another question here from Samir, and he's asking, what are your sales like?
Another good question. So last year we did 56,000. We had expected to do well over 100,000 this year, but as you can well imagine, COVID reared its ugly head, and we did not make as much progress as we hoped to. We expect to match at least what we did last year, but we are nowhere near where we wanted to be, unfortunately, due to COVID. I hate using that as an excuse, but it's fact.
Yeah, it's what we're dealing with. Yeah. Hey, I'm always interested in where ideas come from and where the idea for SafeClip came from. So when did you start working on this problem, and how did you get to start working on SafeClip?
Yeah, another great question. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, serial innovator, and I'm always looking for a better way to do things. I'm a big sports fan, big football fan. I watch a lot of football, still do. And in watching the games, I noticed that there was just really nothing to absorb shock from below the face mask. And I came up with the idea in 2014, started developing that in my head, wrote it down on paper, made a few adjustments there, and I started going through the patent process. But I wanted something that people would get and in 5 minutes install and be safer. And that's how SafeClip was born.
All right. So Justin's ask in Mayfield's Athletics ask is, hey, they're looking for funding and investors. By any chance, do we have any investors here this evening, or else do you have any suggestions or recommendations on people or organizations that Justin and Mayfield could connect with?
One thing I want to mention while people are thinking, but for some reason the market slide got skipped. market size slide. I don't know why, but our market size globally is 675 million. So there's quite a bit of opportunity globally. Here in the United States, we're focusing on the $150 million football market, and we obviously are making inroads in that market. So I don't know why that got skipped, but I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. And we will, let's see. So Samir mentions in the chat, have you considered a Kickstarter campaign?
We did. We actually did a Kickstarter campaign, I want to say 3 years ago. Unfortunately, I think Kickstarter is tailored more towards software and app and maybe smaller technology-related products. We didn't get a lot of traction on there, but we do have a WeFunder campaign going right now. It's another crowdfunding site more tailored towards what we're doing. That is active right now. If you want to check that out, it's at wefunder.com/Mayfield Athletics. But that's a much better fit for what we're doing.
I actually missed the team slide a bit, Justin. But what is your sales team like actually? How built out is it? Because I'd imagine you could just end up going to every single school and just give them a pitch and then just have them sign up, or rather just do sales right there. So I'm sure that's been something you've done, but I'm curious to know what do you call it, outbound sales?
No, definitely something I've done, and I'm going to continue to do it. We have a couple independent sales reps, one in Canada, one down south, that are working for us, starting to contact schools in their area. I'm supposed to be meeting with a reconditioner in the next few days, so that's a pretty big opportunity for us. They also will be pushing our product out to schools that they work with, individuals that they work with. So, but our sales force needs to be vamped up, and to do that, we need resources, just like with everything else. But that is definitely one of our goals, is to pump up our sales force.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like where you're going to get the most return quickly. But I mean, you got all the groundwork there, so it's really cool to see all that again.
It's there. We just got to make it run.
Hey, it's a no-brainer, no pun intended. It's fascinating. 35% shock reduction. At the price point, it makes sense to protect your health and your mind, especially when you're a young athlete. It makes sense for the athlete, for their families, to look out for their health.
Yep. Well, that's why I started the company. I just wanted to make athletes safer. And like I said, that's been a dream come true to me, to see that start to take shape on the field and get those testimonials that say they feel a difference when wearing our product. That means more to me than, obviously the money is going to be nice when I get there, but it just means more to me to have those testimonials and make players safer. That's what I set out to do.
Hey, I would like to thank all of our entrepreneurs for presenting this evening. Swarith, John, Michael, Anthony, and Justin, thank you very much for the most valuable thing is your time and our time. So I'm very grateful for you being a part of the community and this event this evening. And we are at about 8, we got about 5 minutes left. So I want everyone to think about maybe what are some events coming up that's on your schedule, on your radar, that you think would be a benefit to everyone here. So if there's any other pitch nights coming up, and I'll mention Doug Stone with 1 Million Cups of Oakland. Hey, Doug, do you want to tell us about 1 Million Cups real quick?
Sure. Thanks, Jack. 1 Million Cups is a nonprofit organization run by the Kauffman Foundation. There's about 160 chapters around the country. We are the only one in Southeast Michigan. So although one of our sponsors is Oakland County, so we are 1 Million Cups of Oakland County, we cover all of Southeast Michigan. I think there's a chapter in Kalamazoo and another in Copper County up in the UP. But 1 Million Cups is dedicated to supporting entrepreneurs and early stage startups. So less than 5 years old. There's been a lot of research indicating that once a startup gets past 5 years. They're out of the danger zone. So that's why there's a concentration on early stage startups. And it's real simple concept. We have one meeting a month. We're actually intending to move to once a week. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on Wednesdays. It's right now it's the second Wednesday of every month. So our next meeting, the last one for 2020, is next Wednesday from 9 to 10. There are only 2 presenters. Each presents for 6 minutes. They get 6 slides. And then there's about 20 minutes of supportive questions and contacts and connections and suggestions. And also whoever presents gets at least 2 hours of business counseling. We have people on board who, just basically they're there to counsel, to mentor the businesses who are, or the startups and the entrepreneurs who are presenting. The reason it's called 1 million cups is because someone, I'm not sure who, said that it takes about 1 million cups of coffee for entrepreneurs to work amongst themselves to come up with an idea and to launch it successfully. So when we're doing meetings live, which we hope to be doing sometime in the not too distant future, right now we're on Zoom, there's always free coffee, sometimes donuts and other stuff. That's just part of the deal. So next week, Wednesday morning on Zoom, go to 1millioncups.com and look for Oakland County, which is the name of our community, and come join us. You just plug right in, and there's always, I've said this before, Jack, and every time we have a meeting, there's always some question or comment that somebody gives or takes, and something changes in what the founder, what the entrepreneur is doing. There's an epiphany. It's remarkable, and it's why I got involved in it about 1.25 years ago.
Thank you, Doug. So, hey, Doug mentioned they only have 2 presenters for next week's event. So if you're looking for some more exposure to bring some awareness to your startup, as well as, hey, 2 hours of free business consultation. That's pretty
Right.
cool as well.
Yeah.
So
it's not a pitch, it's a presentation. We always end with, what can our community do for you? But I think everyone does that now, but it's not a pitch.
So I did put a link to the 1 Million Cups website down in the chat. And if anyone is interested, please get in contact with Doug and 1 Million Cups of Oakland County. All right. So my last ask before we go here, and let's see. Hey, I got to put you on the spot for just about 30 seconds, Neha. So we have Neha with us, and we've been emailing back and forth. Neha has a podcast. Can you just give us a 1-minute rundown on that, Neha?
Yeah, so hi everybody, my name's Neha. So I'm a chemical engineer from Wayne State. I recently graduated, and I have a podcast. I started it during quarantine. It's called Birds, Donuts, and Everything in Between, kind of a wacky name, but I'll put it in the chat. So basically, I love to learn the story behind someone running a business, working in a different career field, or other experiences that they may have. And so I've been interviewing guests over the last couple months to share their story. So I connected with Jack to interview him, feature him on an episode. But after today's meeting, I loved everybody's pitches. And so you guys might be hearing from me as well. I would love to feature all of the guest speakers and have their own episode. So I put my LinkedIn in the chat. So I'll probably message everybody on LinkedIn as well, or whatever contact information is here. But I'm going to send the link to my podcast. It's on Anchor, but it's also on Spotify and all the other major podcast platforms. Yeah, so episodes are usually like an hour-ish, and just start to finish, how you got to where you are.
Thank you, Neha. So even yet another opportunity if you're trying to get out there, get some exposure, and just to have this conversation, like Doug was mentioning. Through these conversations, we have these small epiphanies, and that can really set our trajectory in a positive direction. So last thing before we go here, I got to remind you of my ask is, hey, I'm inviting you to help make history with us on December 11th through the 12th. And we want to break the record for most users to take an online computer programming lesson within 24 hours. And I'm putting one last link in the chat, miacceleratecs.com. And if you go there, you can, right here where it says free registration, you can register, but there's also more detailed information. There's this short video that will kind of tell you more about the event, and hopefully we can say that as Michigan and as the United States, we have the record for most people to take a computer science lesson or a programming lesson in 24 hours. So before we close off here, for the last minute, I encourage you to copy and paste and save the chat messages we have for this evening. So that will be a record for you of our conversation and the content and everything we shared together. And I want to thank you all so much for being a part of DNUTech's December meetup this evening. Thank you so much for your time. This is all about community and the coming together and the connecting the dots. So we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe and wonderful December holiday season. And we will catch you hopefully in the 2021 year. We have some pitch competitions with cash prizes in this next year and more opportunity to get ourselves out there to make community. So I thank you all one last time. Again, I'm so grateful that you're here with us. And if we have any last comments, I'll give you a quick opportunity to say goodbye or add anything on top of the cake we've baked here. Thanks, everybody. I'll catch you soon. And I think we got someone chiming in.
Yeah, just real quick, I just wanted to say thanks again for including me in this, and it was an honor. And I will be looking into the Millen Cups, and Neha, I look forward to possibly talking about the podcast as well. So thank you.
Hey, and this event this evening has been recorded. I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and I'll be sharing it with our presenters in the community soon. So keep a lookout for a recording of this evening's event. But until next time, that's all, folks, and we will catch you around in the future. And cue the Coltrane.
Take care, y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks.
Howdy.